Just when a talented space mechanic and his trusty robot sidekick thought it was safe to take a vacation from saving the universe, the comedic duo of Ratchet and Clank find themselves once again defending the homeworld from interstellar domination.
Well, Ratchet and Clank Size Matters is an all-new original title for the PSP. They're on vacation, and they're relaxing on Poketaru when they meet a little girl by the name of Luna.
I was wondering if it would be possible to get some pictures of you doing some heroic action.
The little girl, Luna, comes up to them, and she starts talking to them and asking questions. And eventually, she'll get kidnapped, and then Ratchet and Clank trying to rescue her, and that's that adventure.
I can't believe we lost her. Why would they want a little girl?
But it turns out to evolve into a more elaborate scheme of a hidden society and basically hidden technologies that turn out to be a large trap in the end. Other than that, I'm not going to give away too much of the storyline because I would like to leave a little bit of mystery for the players out there.
If my memory bank serves me correctly, I believe it is a technomite artifact.
Yeah, right. Seriously, what is it?
Operating under the principle that a game is only as good as the people who work on it, the design team at the newly formed developer High Impact Games retained several key members responsible for the previous Ratchet and Clank adventures.
And I just wanted to create a home for a lot of really talented developers. So the first thing I did is I rented office space, and then I started hiring people. And from the very beginning, the emphasis was on building a place that is for the developers.
So we've created a very small family feel where people get to come into work every day and feel comfortable enough that they can just instead be creative and focus on the game and what makes it fun.
Saving the planet from a massive variety of invading alien and robot armies takes an equal amount of innovative weapons and unique gadgets to defeat them, a tradition carried over from previous pairings of this dynamic duo.
I personally programmed a lot of the weapons in the original ones, so I was very familiar with the process. And you know, weapon ideas come from everywhere. Sometimes it came from me or a gameplay programmer. Designers came up with a lot of the weapons, but anyone who has a great idea for a weapon, we use it because we have so many weapons to do.
Well, we definitely wanted to develop a whole bunch of new weapons for the game, and some of those weapons include the acid bomb, which explodes and leaves a pool of acid that will burn your enemies over time.
The bee mine is actually my favorite new weapon in the game. Ratchet throws out this little robotic bee mine, and a swarm of little robot bees hover around the mine, waiting to attack any enemy that comes close to it. You can also buy modifications to the bee mine. They can turn bees into worker bees. They can start doing tasks for Ratchet, or add poison stingers to them later on.
Sometimes your best offense is a good defense, so be on the lookout for a variety of armor pieces that collectively enhance the player's abilities.
Ratchet can now find different types of armors. Now, throughout the game, there's armor pieces scattered through all the levels that he has to find. And they don't always match, but if you manage to find all of the armor pieces of a particular type, then Ratchet gets special abilities.
Well, with the wildfire armor, it powers up your wrench with a flame so you can set your enemies on fire and leave fiery footprints behind you. The Crystallix armor allows you to do a wrench strike that brings up giant crystals from the ground to attack enemies in sort of a radius around you.
Quark?
Clank! What a coincidence! What are you doing here?
I am trailing...
While defending a planet sounds like serious work, the design team made sure to retain the hallmark humor Ratchet and Clank are known for.
Well, one of the humorous moments for me in the game comes early on when Captain Quark is talking with Clank, and Clank wants to discover why he's following them around. And he says, "Why don't you just go home to your family?"
I never knew my family. I was given up for adoption as a baby and was raised by monkeys.
Okay. Thanks for sharing.
Quark is kind of a favorite in the Ratchet and Clank series. He's this bumbling buffoon who's always taking credit for everything, but in the end always seems to make right, and that kind of makes him a very appealing character to a lot of people.
All right, let's get this over with. Where are we going?
Well...
I'd go that way, but that's just me.
Oh, Quark.
Tapping into the PSP's wireless capabilities allows players to jump right into serious multiplayer action.
Well, one of our goals with Size Matters was definitely to take advantage of its wireless abilities on the PSP and create a full multiplayer mode. So our multiplayer mode includes 3 styles of play: Deathmatch, Capture the Flag, and the Iron Lombax style.
And basically 2 teams of players compete in a competition to complete objectives before the other team does. And while competing, they're also trying to gather the same resources from each other, which often leads to fighting and stealing of resources in order to complete their objectives first.
In Ratchet and Clank Size Matters, we support ad hoc, where kids can play against each other wirelessly. If they're just near each other, they just start a game and play. Or if they have an internet connection, they can play in infrastructure mode and play against people all over the internet.
The High Impact team was not only having fun working on the game, but also playing it.
I think my favorite level in the game is level 5, which is Ratchet's dream level. We finally get to see what Ratchet dreams about when he goes to sleep. The level's very surreal and very unusual, with all sorts of strange enemies attacking you and odd things to encounter. There's also sort of a swirly dream effect on the screen that I think really adds to the feeling that you're not awake.
Well, I like the Giant Clank Space Combat levels, because even on the PS2, it's hard to find a gameplay element with so many special effects on the screen at once. And for me, it gets my adrenaline going playing that game. It's very, very exciting.
By combining solid portable action with dynamic animation and a charming storyline, the High Impact team has returned Ratchet and Clank to their roots and captured the varied and inventive fun of the franchise.
When you see the previous Ratchet game, the later game has a more serious look. The beginning one has more colors, saturated, and a fun look, and that's the feel we try to go.
I think that they're going to be blown away in both aspects. I think that they're going to enjoy the look of the game. I think we've really captured the classic Ratchet series. I think it's one of the better looking games on PSP. I think the gameplay is absolutely fantastic too. And I think that our fan base is really going to enjoy this game.
Quark, where do we take the artifact?
Don't try that big building. For some reason, the good stuff is always in the biggest buildings.
Thanks, Quark. You've been helpful.